Hey everyone, welcome to this week in marketing show, also known as the Twim Show. I'm your host Sajid Islam, and today I'll be going over the notable news and updates in the digital marketing space from the week of September 21, 2020. First off, today we are going to start off with a little bit of Twitter. What we have been hearing from our sources is that there is a way to request a verified Twitter account, right? So now Twitter verified Twitter accounts are those accounts that have those blue check marks next to it. And what we found out, again, this is something it's hearsay per se, but this has been proven right a few times. So probably this is quite, um, you know, quite true. How to get your account verified. Which is, basically what the deal is. You need to basically make sure you have filled out your profile completely. You have a display photo, a cover photo, name, website bio. If you can, add a verified phone number, confirm your email address, adding your date of birth, and make sure your tweet privacy is not set to private, it's set to public. Like now, once you have all these things, you can visit the verification form on Twitter to put forward the verification request. And once all guidelines are met, Twitter will decide within 30 days if your account is something of public interest or not. If so, they will go ahead and give you the verified account. Now, if for some reason you do not get the verification, you can again try it after 30 months, or not 30 months, after 30 days, after a month, right? I apologize for that. So basically, and what Twitter is basically saying, that accounts that they deem are of public interest seems to be one accounts which are authentic, and are especially, like, for example, the ones for artists, musicians, actors, politicians, sportsmen, businessmen, prominent religious personalities. So what this basically goes to say is that, go ahead and put it in, make sure your account's good, you're not, like, tweeting crap. And if it's all good, then basically you should get a verified account. With that, let's move on. The next update we have is from our friends at Facebook. Facebook has basically updated their rights management platform and now basically giving creators a more control over their images. So now let me explain to you why this matters and why we are covering this. It's actually a double-edged sword. Why I say this is because you probably have seen this, and I actually saw it happen a few days back, where I had uploaded a workout video from my gym about 2 years ago, and obviously it was everyone working out, and I basically took a video and posted it on our Facebook page saying, hey, this is workout happening in our gym. 2 years later, fast forward, I received a notification from Facebook saying, hey, seems like you have posted a content that contains copyrighted music. So you have two options. Either we can mute the section of the video where they have copyrighted music, or you can delete it. So it's happening. Even though that video was posted 2 years ago, it's because of the rights management platform, because big brands, Hollywood, and artists are actually cracking down, saying, hey, Facebook, you need to combat all these copyright violations, and you got to be very strong. So anyway, Facebook didn't ban my account. They gave me an option, but it was like really sucky that after 2 years they're going to say that. And it's basically a very innocent video, right? For example, say if you are at an event where they're playing music and you took a video of that, a quick video of that environment, and post it on a Facebook page, 2 years later Facebook might come back and say, slap you and says, you know what, oopsie, you did something wrong, even though you didn't do anything wrong. So now this brings us to the right management platform and images. It's great, for Hollywood studios, movies, things like that, where if someone is using or use image without our permissions, then we want to get notified, or we want Facebook to take it down. Great for, for example, if you have an ex or a stalker, taking your photo or using your photo to create fake profiles. Now, on the other hand, why I say double-edged sword is, on the other hand, imagine we take a image of, say, whatever it is, a copyrighted image of a movie poster, and we want to share it and comment on it and things like that. I do not know how this is going to all work out. And the other question I have is, and maybe Facebook will unintentionally, delete or move images that are quote unquote not copyrighted, like what I explained to about the video having a copyrighted music. It wasn't like I was like, infringing on any copyrighted stuff. It's just like they were playing. I mean, during workout, we all play music, don't we? And if it's in a gym, they're gonna play music. And if I take a video of the thing, and now I got like slapped on my wrist because of that. So the other question, what we need to answer or find out is what happens if I alter the image. Right, video and music, if you alter it, obviously they use fingerprinting and that's how they find it. But what happens if we alter the image, put some text on it, or change the colors and things like that? How good is this right management platform? Maybe not so great at the beginning, but over time it's going to get smarter. But again, at the same time, there are a lot of questions. Just be cognizant of it. It's like brands like Louis Vuitton or other big brands, I kind of Porsche or maybe Lamborghini, Ferrari, they may use this a lot. You and I, if we are like small to medium sized businesses where we are spending like 10 million or less a year, then we probably would not be really affected by that. With that, let's move on. So again, Facebook removes from this. Again, the next update is from Facebook. Facebook basically coming out officially saying, they're removing the restriction on 20% text in ad image. This goes back a long time ago. There was a text overlay tool back in Facebook where if your image had more than 20% text, Facebook would have basically outright rejected it. Then Facebook realized a lot of people are not spending money. A lot of ads are getting rejected. Facebook realizing they make money when you run ads, right? Or when we run ads. So they're basically like, shit. We are basically, people are getting banned. So let's lower the limit. So they basically lowered the threshold. They didn't really outright banned or didn't stop the image from being used in an ad, but they allowed it and they basically charged us more. Now they're coming out and they're saying, well, it's totally gone, no more limits. So folks, if you're listening to it, go ahead, knock yourself out, put as much text as you want. Although I will tell you, don't put so much text that people get dizzy and they just scroll over your ad. Use your judgment. I would say sometimes I know when we have run ads and we wanted to put some pertinent information like date, time, venue, Facebook kicked us in the ass that says, hey, you cannot do this. So I'm glad to see that this is happening eventually. I guess Zuckerberg made his money and now realized he needs to reach out to more people and get some more money. So that's his approach. Let's move on. Our next one, and for the first, I think this is a topic we're covering for the first time, is Reddit. I don't believe since we started this Twim show we have ever covered Reddit. This is the first time we're doing, and basically Reddit launched 3 new tiered ad inventory options. This actually is interesting because Reddit has a lot of millions of users. However, a lot of brands have actually left the Reddit platform because of all the controversy that happened around Reddit. So now they have basically launched 3 different ad options, and I took a look at it. If I can remember correctly, one is expanded. It's basically you can have a lot of free. It's like loosey-goosey way of running your ads, like your ads would show up in any forums and what's not. And then there's a standard, and then there is the, I think, limited. Limited is very restrictive, where if you're really concerned about your brand image and your brand ads showing up on a I do not know, something very controversial, you don't want that, you can control it in the limited section. So Reddit basically, it's taking a cue from the inventory queue from Google, and they basically tiered it up, and they says, hey, here are the 3 different tiers, and go ahead and use the tier that aligns with your brand and come and advertise with her. So Reddit, if you haven't advertised on Reddit, definitely check it out. I've heard good things about Reddit. It's all display ad, so you have to test it out and see how well your product or your ads do. However, it's really worth a try, given that Reddit's like breaking up the tiers and making it easy for brands to get there. With that, let's move on to the next one. So our next update is from our friends at Pinterest. Pinterest has basically launched its holiday marketing hub to help businesses tap into pins. What essentially this is like, given that Christmas is 94 days or so away, Pinterest wants businesses to tap into the power of pins, aka spend more on their platform. If you didn't get that, drift, basically that's what they're all about. But in keeping the my sarcasm aside, one thing I will definitely add is that this is a it's a 13 pay marketing guide is quite useful. So if you are, I mean, especially given the pandemic, I mean, people have started planning and people have started doing. So if you haven't thought of or started planning for the holiday season, probably this is a good place to start and to see what how you can actually benefit from this whole guide as well as the platform itself. Because it seems like, according to the guide that I have looked at, and I'm actually skimming through it right now, is like, there are about 200% increase, over 200% increase on holiday planning this year. It's just that, people are bored at home. I mean, I'm not sure if you've been to a shopping mall lately. I have. Actually, I've been 2 days ago. Actually, not 2 days ago. Last Sunday, actually, I was in a shopping mall, and people are just out and about. They're getting people are so tired of staying home that they are risking out and venturing out, and they're just going out. So again, a lot of people are actually doing retail therapy, even though the economic is in the doldrums, a lot of uncertainty, things like that. Again, I don't mean to be negative in our show, but I'm just saying the overall mindset is people are, depending on who you are reading and what periodical newspaper you're reading, the economy itself is kind of not in the doldrums, but it is not really healthy as well. It's kind of getting there, kind of sick, things like that. But people are still doing retail therapy just because they cannot go to bars, they cannot go to movies, they cannot go to clubs, they're not really enjoying restaurants. A lot of the activities that they were engaging in before, they're not able to do it. So as a result, they're basically using retail therapy as an outlet. So folks, that's enough of my blabbering. All I will tell you is the link to the guide is going to be in our show notes. Check it out. You'll be glad you did, because this is helpful. With that, let's move on to the next one, which is also from our friend at Pinterest. Basically, it's a story pins, and if you have been using Instagram or Facebook, you pretty much know what stories are, right? It's the and I'm laughing because our next update is on LinkedIn, and you're going to hear something very simple. But it seems like stories are the thing for 2020. And what's amazing is all these platforms are actually copying each other. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna make it whole lot easier, and just gonna say in the next update also we're gonna cover LinkedIn stories. So why I'm laughing is these platforms are all copying each other. There's no innovation. Come on, guys. I mean, I'm talking about Pinterest, I'm talking about LinkedIn, right? And they're trying to sugarcoat this thing and make it look sexy. It's not. All it is you're copying Instagram and Facebook's feature into your platform. And I do not know about you guys. Maybe I'm not a Pinterest user, I'm not a pinner, so I'm not really sure how effective this is going to be for stories. I mean, there is the FOMO factor in it. Right, if your stories disappear after, especially on Facebook, stories disappear after 24 hours. If you don't see it, you lose it. And Instagram, I know you can actually put it up on your, Insta account in some tabs. I've heard about it. My social media person have told me once. And again, I'm not really the social media guru. But coming back. Come on, LinkedIn is launching. Again, let me jump into that update so that you can see. LinkedIn is launching stories. Dude, I thought LinkedIn was a professional networking platform. Although, LinkedIn is basically full of scammers and saying everyone wants to send me a connection request, and I accept this, and next thing I know, they're pitching me something. So, and now they're launching stories. Dude, what the hell am I going to do? I'm supposed to be there doing business, connecting with HR, connecting with job opportunities or business opportunities, and now I'm going to be there with stories. LinkedIn wants me to spend more time on LinkedIn, but maybe they could have found a better way, is what I will tell you. I am not a fan of it. I basically do not enjoy it as much, but although I will tell you, there is a new LinkedIn UI. I was on my LinkedIn account on Friday, and I saw a new UI. It's very lightweight, it's faster, it's not as bulky and clunky like the older one. Finally, LinkedIn is coming to 2020, is all I will tell you. So there you go, folks. I'm not going to dive right into it. You know what stories are. If you want to really read up, you can read up on our show notes page or anywhere on the internet. There is nothing to really cover up or discuss over here. I know your time is valuable. Our times are valuable. So let's move on and let them enjoy stories. But again, if you heard it, if someone asks you about, if you're talking about LinkedIn stories or Pinterest stories, you can say, yeah, they exist. And, that should be the end of it. With that, let's move on to I believe the last update of the week is also LinkedIn announced an update on their marketing partner program. So let me break it down for you what that means. So you know how Facebook has this partners program where basically you can be a Facebook verified or Facebook certified partner, just how you have Google has Google partners, basically quote unquote partner badge and things like that tiers. LinkedIn actually had that. If you're not aware of it, then maybe I don't blame you, just because LinkedIn is the new kid on the block, even though they've been around for a while. So this is a program that launched back in 2014. So it's about 6-ish year old program. And now they're basically coming out and they're saying, that they're creating different categories in terms of helping people find their right program for a right partner for their right, stuff. So basically, that's what they're doing. But what the main takeaway here for you is, if you're listening to this and you thought, hey, I missed the boat on becoming a Facebook partner or a Google partner, because remember, it's much easier to become one of these partners at the initially than it is towards the end or middle. Why do I say this? Is because here's a great example. When they're launching it, the barrier to entry, the bar is quite low in my experience. I've seen that. But as time goes on, they add more and more partners, they become more stricter, and they ask you for a lot of information and a lot of spend and things like that. And it just makes it harder. So if you're one of those people who are thinking maybe, should I become a LinkedIn partner? Absolutely. It's a way for LinkedIn to signal that they're here, they're serious, they're going to be around. I believe we also covered about TikTok partnership program in our show a few weeks ago. So, I didn't at that time really wasn't quite sure about LinkedIn Partners program, but now it is. There are different partners, partnerships level things you can do. Let me look at something here. 1 in 5 advertisers apparently on LinkedIn uses one of their partners. So that's 20%, right? So maybe it's a pretty big market for you to tap into. So why would you not? So folks, this brings us to the end of our show. But before I sign off, I want to share with you that we are launching a Patreon channel where a lot of the things I cover here, I cannot go in depth, especially some of the testing we do, experiments we do, and the data we collect. I have covered it over a show. Hey, join our free group, and I'll cover those data and results of our experiments in there. So now I am actually launching the Patreon group. If to go there, go to patreon.com/marketandgrow. And what this will do, you can sign up. It's a small fee per month. You can leave anytime you want. Although I believe you will see the value and you will stay on. What this is going on is, as we go from week to week, for example, this week there was a Reddit option. I'm going to run some ads in Reddit. And I'm going to capture the data. Anyone knows how to run ads on Reddit, or you can look up a video and ask anyone and you'd be able to do it. But what you will see in our channel is a learning. So that the money we are spending, and you get the information from us so that you don't make the same mistakes that we are making, right? It gives you an edge. So if you want that edge, definitely join our Patreon group, and where you will see all the data behind the scenes, and you'd be able to engage as well and ask your questions. How valuable will that be? So anyway, already folks, that's it for this week in marketing. Now you know everything you need to know. If you'd like to read more, make sure you visit our show page where you will find the links to the articles. Again, if you want to actually dig deeper, geek out on some of this data, experimental results, definitely join our Patreon group. With that, once again, this is your host Sajid Islam signing off. Until next week. Bye-bye.